And on this video, I'm going to be bringing you my top 10 starting pitchers right now. Let's get into it. What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast on the Laracuente Ledger Network. And as I said in the open, I'm going to be bringing you my top 10 starting pitchers right now in Major League Baseball. We're following along and corresponding our videos with MLB Network's countdown of the very same list of the top 10 right now at each position. Tonight, they're going to reveal the starting pitchers, so I'm going to bring you mine. And I encourage you, make your own list. Sit down with the pool of available pitchers and see who makes the cut for you. What are the stats and the factors that factor into your decision? Let me know that down in the comment section below and we'll discuss it further. Let me know where you disagree and where you agree with my list. So, let's get into it. Now, beginning at number 10 is a young man out of San Diego, and that's Dinelson Lamet. When you look at what Lamet is able to do and what he's done in a very short amount of time, looking specifically at the 2020 campaign, this was a dynamic young arm for a dynamic team. Now, while the 2020 numbers have to be looked at with kind of a grain of salt because it was a shortened season and a much smaller sample size than we typically get per season, Lamet played an extremely great brand of baseball for the San Diego Padres. During the campaign, he would pitch to an ERA of 2.09 and an ERA plus of 205. Now, yes, the league average for ERA plus is 100. 205 is exponentially above that. But again, we have to kind of temper expectations going into the 2021 campaign because it's going to be, by all accounts, a regular, normal 162-game season. So with that, we know that the regression to the mean is likely going to play a factor. But I do believe that Lamet is going to still be one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. As we head into number 9 on my list, it's going to be Aaron Nola of the Philadelphia Phillies. When you look at what Nola can be, he is absolutely poised to be one of the best and top-tier pitchers in Major League Baseball. Many people may not realize just how well-rounded of a pitcher Aaron Nola is because he's playing for Philadelphia. And if you don't like the Phillies or you're not in the Northeast, you may not realize just how talented the young man is. When you look at what he did across the 2020 campaign, he would pitch to an ERA of 3.28 and a FIP, a fielding independent pitching, of 3.19. And he would also strike out 96 batters in just 71 1/3 innings, to the tune of an ERA plus of 139. And when you look at what Nola has been and has done over the last 4 years, he's never had an ERA plus worse than 115. This is going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. Don't just take my word for it. Watch him and you'll see it for yourself. As we head into number 8 on my list, Max Fried of the Atlanta Braves. When you look at what this lefty is capable of doing, he too has the potential to be a top tier starter in Major League Baseball. He would pitch 56 innings across 11 starts during the 2020 campaign to the tune of an ERA plus of 212, a regular ERA of 2.25, and a FIP of 3.10. So as you're projecting for the 2021 campaign, a pitcher like Max Fried is going to be able to help the Atlanta Braves continue to maintain their dominance in the National League East. I've said it on many videos, so I'll say it here as well. I do believe that the National League East will be the most competitive division in Major League Baseball in the 2021 season. And having a starter, your ace like Max Fried for the Atlanta Braves, is what's going to help continue to keep you at the top of that division. Now we move into number 7 on my list, and that's Luis Castillo from the Cincinnati Reds. When you look at Castillo, this to me is a power arm that is just waiting in the wings to rise up to the top of this very list. Now we know Castillo's name is really hot on the trade market right now, but I don't think he really goes anywhere. In 2020, the right-hander would produce an ERA plus of 148 and an ERA of 3.21. And in looking over the last couple of seasons for Castillo, he continues to improve. So heading into 2021, there's little doubt in my mind that he will elevate his game to the next level in 2021. As we move into number 6 on my list, we look at the new ace of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And yes, Clayton Kershaw is still a very good pitcher, but I genuinely believe that Walker Bueller is going to certify himself as the ace of the Los Angeles Dodgers pitching staff. When you look at what the young man is capable of doing, his ability on the mound and his poise on the mound is something that you see from a pitcher of his caliber. If you take a look back at his 2019 season, in 30 starts, and 182 in the third innings. Bueller would strike out 215 batters, pitch to the tune of an ERA of 3.26, a FIP of 3.01, and an ERA plus of 127. Now, that may not seem like so high of a number because comparing it to the 2020 campaign where guys had huge bursts in short terms may not seem like quite as much. But when you take that and you place that over 30 starts, this was a dominant performance by a young right-hander. So I definitely believe that Walker Bueller will rise up and assert himself as the new ace of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, before we get into the top 5, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know who makes your top 10 starting pitchers right now. Leave that for me down in the comment section below and we'll discuss it further. Let me know where you agree or disagree with my list and we can discuss it and chop it up more. So let's get into the top 5. Now, as we begin the top echelon of starting pitching right now in Major League Baseball, we begin with Hyunjin Ryu of the Toronto Blue Jays. When you look at Ryu, you wouldn't expect him to genuinely be on this list, but all he's done is pitch and pitch extremely well over the last few years. He would have very, very minuscule ERAs of 1.97, 2.32, and 2.69 over the last 3 seasons respectively, including taking the ERA crown in 2019. Now, while Ryu will not have a blistering fastball that will blow you away like many others on my list, he has pinpoint control that allows him to place the ball exactly where he's looking to and allow himself to thread the needle and get hitters out using their own strengths against him. As we move into number 4 on my list, it is the charismatic enigma, Trevor Bauer. When you look at Trevor Bauer, he is an anomaly to say the least. Some people love him, some people hate him. As I've said previously in our video when we covered his 3 most likely landing destinations, which I will leave links to up in the YouTube card as well as down in the show notes below. But when you look at what Trevor Bauer does, to me, he is an absolute joy to watch. I think his pitching ability, the mindset with which he aggressively tries to get everyone out, the fact that he has that bulldog mentality of just continuing to battle is something that you can respect on the mound. Now, most of the time, what happens with Trevor Bauer is that his mouth gets him in trouble and his online personality tends to rub people the wrong way. But there's no denying that his ability on the mound is second to none. The man works extremely hard to try to better himself each and every offseason, and there's no doubt about it that he's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. So now we head into the top 3, and I want to make it very clear, all 3 of these guys could have been flip-flopped in any single order. So, as we get into number 3, it is Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets. deGrom has been the poster boy for excellence over the last few seasons. And in 2020, it did little to subside that thought in theory. When you look at his ERA pluses for the last 3 seasons, it's been 218, 169, and 178 respectively, remembering that the league average for ERA plus is 100. Jacob deGrom is among the elite of the elite when it comes to starting pitching. And that's why we've seen him win back-to-back Cy Youngs over the 2 of the past 3 seasons. And as 2021 is set to be a full regular 162-game season, watching deGrom pitch 30 times plus over the coming season will be a joy to behold. So definitely Jacob deGrom is amongst the upper echelon of top 10 pitchers right now. As we get into the number 2 spot, it is the newly minted Cy Young Award winner for the American League, and that is Shane Bieber. Now, in 2020, Shane Bieber would put everything together, and despite it being a shortened campaign, he would dominate the field and look like he was just getting started. Bieber would win the pitching triple crown in the American League, which is strikeouts, ERA, and pitcher wins. Bieber would have an absolutely microscopic ERA of 1.63 in 2020. He would have a FIP, a fielding independent pitching, of 2.07 and a league best 122 strikeouts in just 77 in the third innings. There's no doubt when you watch Shane Bieber over the last couple of seasons that he's continually been progressing towards this level. Shane Bieber has clearly placed himself amongst the very top of the best starting pitchers in Major League Baseball right now, and thus he makes number 2 on my list. Now, as I said, before we get into my number 1 starting pitcher right now, this is a personal list and personal biases do factor in, and therefore Garrett Cole is my number 1 pitcher right now. Now, when you look at what Garrett Cole is and what he did for the New York Yankees in his first season in pinstripes, it was nothing short of impressive. Looking back on his 2019 campaign, you see an even more dominant performance than what you saw in 2020. In 2019, across 33 starts, Garrett Cole would win 20 games, pitch to the tune of a 2.50 ERA over 212 and a third innings, strike out 326 batters, and have an ERA plus of 1.85 and a FIP of 2.64. In 2020, he would follow up those numbers in his first year in the Bronx and end up with an ERA plus of 1.51 and an ERA of 2.87. And although pitching just 73 innings in the shortened season, Garrett Cole would strike out 94 batters. Now, Garrett Cole is the $324 million man for the New York Yankees, and he began earning every bit of that money in the 2020 campaign, helping push the Yankees to a postseason spot. And despite the way the season ended, that fault was not on Garrett Cole. Now again, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know who makes your list down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about my list? Where do you differ? Where do you agree? Let me know that down in the comments below and we can discuss it further. As always, if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell to stay notified of every time we drop new content here on the Laracuente Ledger Network. If you haven't already done so, make sure you join us over on Patreon, as we do have a ton of exclusive content already on our Patreon account, and it's just waiting for you there. So make sure, if you haven't already done so, you join us there as well as here on YouTube, because your support is what's going to allow us to continue bringing you this content each and every week. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you the next time the latest news, notes, and my personal thoughts, theories, and opinions have to be dropped about the game of Major League Baseball. Peace.